Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP Today. The 2025 MotoGP season hasn't even begun, and reigning world champion Jorge Martin is already facing a major setback. Aprilia has confirmed that Martin will miss the opening round in Thailand after suffering a fresh injury during training. The Spaniard, who was already recovering from fractures sustained in pre-season testing, now faces surgery and an indefinite recovery period. A stunning development in the motorcycle industry, as reports from Austria suggest BMW is eyeing a takeover of KTM, but with a controversial twist. According to local media, BMW plans to strip KTM of its Austrian identity, moving research and development to Germany and shifting production to India. With KTM already facing financial turmoil, this potential buyout raises serious questions about the brand's future, its workforce, and even its MotoGP program. The start of a MotoGP race is one of the most crucial and unpredictable moments, where milliseconds can make the difference between leading into turn 1 or getting swallowed by the pack. Pre-season testing at Sepang and Buyout has showcased just how complex modern MotoGP starts have become, with riders and engineers pushing their machines to the absolute limit, sometimes even beyond it, to find the perfect launch. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Martin's transition to Aprilia was always expected to be challenging, but the obstacles keep piling up. The reigning champion endured a massive crash on the first day of testing in Sepang, forcing him to undergo surgery and miss the rest of pre-season. Just as he was preparing for his Aprilia debut in Buyout, disaster struck again. While training ahead of his departure for Thailand, Martin fractured his left hand, dealing another blow to his already difficult start to 2025. Aprilia confirmed the severity of the injury in a statement. Jorge Martin suffered a complex fracture of the radius, some carpal bones on the left side, and an ipsilateral calcaneal fracture during a training session. This means multiple fractures in both his wrist and heel, injuries that require immediate surgical intervention. Aprilia's medical team quickly determined that surgery was necessary to stabilize the fractures, and Martin will undergo the procedure at the renowned Dexius Clinic in Barcelona. After a surgical consultation, it was decided to proceed with surgery, which will take place tomorrow to stabilize the fractures of the radius and the left scaphoid. At this stage, there is no set recovery timeline, as the team will assess his condition post-surgery before making further decisions. In his absence, Aprilia test rider Lorenzo Savdori will step into race in Thailand. This marks a historic moment in MotoGP, as Martin becomes the first reigning champion since Freddie Spencer in 1984 to miss the opening round of the season. Martin's 2024 season was a breakthrough, making history as the first independent team rider in the modern era to win the Premier Class title. Initially, he was set to join Ducati's factory squad, but Marc Marquez's decision to stay with Pramac forced a reshuffle. In response, Martin signed a 2-year deal with Aprilia, taking on the challenge of leading the Noali-based manufacturer's charge. Despite his championship status, Martin had already tempered expectations for 2025, acknowledging that adapting to the RSGP would take time. Now, with these injuries delaying his progress even further, his hopes of defending the title appear even more uncertain. Martin's latest injury adds another layer of difficulty to what was already a demanding transition. Having completed just 90 laps on the RSGP, mostly during last November's post-season test, he has had very little track time to fine-tune his approach with Aprilia. Missing Buyout means even less data and development heading into the next rounds. Aprilia had hoped to start 2025 with momentum, but now they must adjust their strategy while awaiting Martin's return. His ability to bounce back will be crucial, but for now, all eyes are on his recovery timeline. Jorge Martin's journey with Aprilia has started under difficult circumstances, and his title defense is already in jeopardy. With surgery scheduled and no confirmed return date, MotoGP's reigning champion faces a tough road ahead. Can he recover in time to make an impact this season? Or will this injury setback derail his campaign before it even begins? We'll be following this story closely as updates come in. KTM, Europe's largest motorcycle manufacturer, has been battling a financial crisis for months. The company entered self-administration late last year, seeking a way to recover from over €2 billion in debt. A crucial vote is set for Tuesday, where creditors will decide whether to approve KTM's restructuring plan. If successful, KTM would repay 30% of its debt, around €900 million, by the end of May, potentially securing its survival. However, failure to win creditor approval could force the brand into bankruptcy. Now, a report from Austrian outlet OE24 suggests BMW could step in with a takeover offer, but the deal could have devastating consequences for Austria's economy and KTM's workforce. According to OE24, BMW's interest in acquiring KTM comes with a major condition: completely removing the brand's operations from Austria. The proposed plan would see KTM's research and development relocated to BMW's headquarters in Munich, while production would shift to India. This would spell disaster for KTM's 4,500 Austrian employees, who would reportedly be laid off by the end of 2025. The ripple effect would also hit Austrian suppliers, as BMW would integrate its own supply chain instead. The financial impact of such a move could be severe. Under Austrian law, the country's insolvency burden equalization fund would have to compensate laid-off KTM workers, an expense estimated at €225 million. The prospect of losing an iconic Austrian brand, combined with massive job losses, has sparked widespread concern ahead of Tuesday's critical vote. Beyond the industrial and economic implications, a BMW buyout could also reshape KTM's presence in MotoGP. BMW has long been rumored to be considering an entry into the premier class, but so far, the German brand has focused on World Superbikes, where it claimed the 2024 championship with Toprak Razgatlioglu. If BMW acquires KTM, it could choose to rebrand or withdraw the team from MotoGP altogether, leaving a major void in the championship. For now, KTM remains focused on securing outside investment to avoid bankruptcy. Reports indicate the company has lined up €900 million from investors, which would be enough to meet its restructuring commitments. However, if the creditor vote doesn't go in KTM's favor, BMW's offer could become a lifeline, albeit a highly controversial one. With the creditor vote just days away, KTM faces a defining moment in its history. If the restructuring plan is approved, the brand could continue its recovery, retaining its Austrian roots and workforce. But if creditors reject the proposal, KTM may have no choice but to consider BMW's offer, or face the possibility of bankruptcy. The stakes are enormous, not just for KTM, but for Austria's motorcycle industry, thousands of employees, and even MotoGP itself. As the situation unfolds, all eyes will be on Tuesday's crucial decision. The fate of KTM hangs in the balance, with a critical vote set to decide whether the Austrian brand survives as an independent company or falls into the hands of BMW. Will KTM remain a proud Austrian manufacturer, or is it destined to be reshaped under German control? We'll bring you all the latest updates as this high-stakes drama continues to unfold. Gone are the days when MotoGP riders simply dropped the clutch and relied on quick reflexes to rocket off the line. Now, with advanced electronic launch control, front and rear ride height devices, and variable clutch settings, the process is more technical than ever. During winter testing, dramatic images emerged of riders spinning up their rear tires, struggling to find the perfect balance between traction and wheelie control. One key factor? The ever-changing grip levels on different grids. Buriram, for example, is known for its dusty surface, making it particularly tricky for launches. Jack Miller, who switched to Pramac Yamaha for 2025, explained just how precise teams need to be. In high grip conditions, you slam the thing down as low as possible, like a drag racer. But in low grip conditions, you have to shift weight to the rear to avoid spinning up the tire too much, Miller said. For this reason, KTM, where Miller previously rode, had 4 different front-end settings just for practice starts. Now at Yamaha, Miller says he's already set records with the M1's launch system, calling it a rocket ship, and promising it will be ready to go when we start racing. One of the biggest trends seen in preseason testing is the aggressive lowering of holeshot devices, with bikes dropping to unprecedented levels, sometimes even scraping the fairings on the track. While lowering the bike improves anti-wheelie performance, it also increases the risk of wheel spin. This delicate balance varies depending on track temperature, grip levels, and even rider preference. Yamaha Technical Director Max Bartolini revealed that the only way to truly understand the limits is by pushing beyond them in testing. We tried to go as low as possible, like everybody else. But to set the holeshot device, you need to consider multiple factors: clutch usage, suspension behavior, even the rider's input. The only way to find the perfect setup is to sometimes go too far, Bartolini said. This constant experimentation is why riders sometimes struggle with dramatic rear wheel spin during testing. However, once they dial in the settings for race conditions, they aim for the perfect launch, though the search for improvement never stops. While the ultra-low holeshot device settings are used only at the start, the ride height lowering system remains active throughout the race to optimize acceleration. Different manufacturers use different approaches. Ducati has an automatic system that activates as the rider enters a corner and resets by itself on exit. Honda still uses a manual system, where the rider manually engages and disengages the device. Yamaha, according to Bartolini, offers both options, letting the rider decide which system they prefer. The ability to fine-tune these systems is another crucial element in modern MotoGP racing, ensuring riders get maximum drive onto long straights without sacrificing control. While testing has provided valuable insights, the true test of these launch systems will come this Saturday at the Thai Grand Prix Sprint Race, the first official start of the 2025 season. With every factory now running ultra-refined ride height devices, clutch systems, and launch control settings, the battle off the line is expected to be more competitive than ever. For the riders, the goal is clear: find the perfect balance between traction, power, and control. But as Bartolini put it, the only way to truly know where the limit is to go over it first. With preseason testing now complete, all eyes turn to Buyout for the season's first MotoGP start. Have the teams perfected their launch techniques, or will we see more unexpected wheel spin and drama off the line? The answers will come when the lights go out this Saturday. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. See you next time.